Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGenEd. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the chart behind me, which is of Luminar Technologies. I also have Blink charging up there because that is a frequent request, and I will be going over that. And I have to say, I'm just coming back from vacation. I had a red eye last night, so I'm pretty tired. But I'm having fun, and so I hope that you guys are looking forward to going over some charts, having some fun with me as well. And also, I want to note that I've mentioned memberships in prior streams, prior videos, and as of right now, there are only 3 members, and it's only 99 cents a month to get all of the features. I did have 2 tiers, or I do have 2 tiers where you can pay $1.99 a month to get a little bit extra, but because there are only 3 members, I'm just leaving it flat. So if you are paying for the $1.99 a month, it's fine if you keep doing that. I do appreciate it, but you could also switch to the 99 cents a month and you still get the same features rather than trying to partition it. I'm just, trying to make it as open as possible for people. And I started with the 2 tiers because I thought there would be a lot more interest. But yeah, if you are interested in becoming a member, basically the thing that I will probably be doing that stands out is doing basically over weekends, I will go over what I plan on doing and just some of the things that stand out to me in the charts. And so I think that there's a lot of value there, just 99 cents a month. And then, I will add aspects to it. But as far as doing a live stream just for members, it's kind of tough timing that consistently every week, just around my work schedule, around everybody else's schedule, stuff like that. But I will definitely be doing at least, if not a weekly video, a weekly post going over the things that stand out to me. And since I was on vacation, that is what I did over last weekend. So hopefully that was helpful. But yeah, I'm just going to go over Luminar because it was a video that I had hoped to go over, or a ticker, I should say, that I had hoped to go over while on vacation. I didn't have time for it. So I want to start with that, and then I will go over Blink. But before I get into the tickers, cheers, everybody. Happy Wednesday. This is a special stream. I don't normally do them. It is hump day. And yeah, I'm back. I'm not working tomorrow, but I am working Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I'm hoping to catch up on some videos tomorrow. But yeah, cheers. I start a little bit early. But yeah, cheers to you guys, and cheers to the week. It's been a pretty exciting one, a pretty crazy week to take off, I must say. But I've definitely been following stuff, and I'm excited for it. But yeah, cheers to you guys. And so with that being done, I'm going to get into the Luminar chart. And so, this is one that I hold, but I've been very reluctant in adding to my position. So I feel like my positions in ChargePoint and Luminar are pretty similar, but I don't hold much Luminar relative to ChargePoint. But I feel like they're both similar speculative stocks that I think will do well, but also speculative and risky. And so, I was expecting there to be a bounce like we've seen, but I was hoping that it would continue. I'm kind of hoping that today, Wednesday's pullback on the 17th, was kind of a fake out or a break from the move upwards, and we will see a continuation Thursday and Friday. So I'm thinking that, or at least hoping that for a lot of stocks. But if in case that is not what is happening, what could I do here to kind of highlight where price might be going? And so that's basically just going to be a Fibonacci retracement, but rather than going from the top to the bottom here, I am going to go from the bottom to the top because that would suggest a level that we might be pulling back to, finding support at. And so this is 129, it looks like, is the low there, and then going up to this high, which was, let's see, a $2.18. So I have that marked just right there, but a little bit off on the bottom. So I'm going to adjust that here. And so from that, let's see, are all of the levels highlighted there? Don't have the 236, don't have the 0. Do have the golden pocket, so that's looking good. And so, and I might actually color that. Let's see. I'll do blue just so it stands out from the white one. But very interesting. So from this white one, this is a Fibonacci extension going from the high here that was hit on, I guess, the end of December, coming down to the low here, hit the middle of April, and then up to this high that was hit at the beginning of May. We see that, man, I thought that, yeah, oh yeah. Exactly, the 236 here from that white Fibonacci extension matches perfectly with the 50% retracement from the blue one that I just drew up there at $1.73.5. So I'm wondering if price might be pulling back to that, but maybe we saw, because it's never going to be perfect, maybe we saw the low from today being 176, being approximately getting to that 50% retracement, and maybe we see a bounce tomorrow. But if not, I'm pretty compelled by the 50% level at 173.5. There is also the golden pocket just below that, ranging from about 160 to 163. So those are two levels that stand out to me as potentially being support and or dip buying opportunities. The golden pocket does correspond with the highs over here, so I do think we could be finding some support there. And one second, I'm just going to clear my throat. I'm going to mute the camera or the microphone. Excuse me, sorry about that. And hey, Nameless, what's up? And I have to say, the reason why I'm doing this stream is because Nameless requested that I do one before Sunday, and so I thought I would do this. So everybody thank Nameless for the request, because I would have either made a video today or I probably would have just been tired today. And so I will check out 9 Energy Service, Upwork, let's see, that one, and FVRR. I believe I've gone, or is it FVRR? I'm assuming you're referring to FVRR, Fever. I've gone over that before. No, I was already on vacation. So I live in Iowa and had kind of like a layover in Chicago. I took a couple days there and then visited family in LA. And so I'm back now, back in Iowa. And yeah, I'm not working tomorrow, so I'll try to get out some videos. Likely going to do one on Luminar and probably one on Plug Power. Might do another couple other videos. But then, yeah, back to, the normal routine. And so it was a nice vacation, but it was kind of a family vacation. So those are always a lot of work. And I mean, in all honesty, this channel has kind of been like my life, the past 6 months. So I'm happy to be back to this. I'm not happy to be going back to work, but I'm just excited to be seeing the channel grow and stuff like that. So I'm glad the vacation's over. Although I like Chicago, I would have liked to spend more time there. But it's not too far away, so I can do that again soon. But yeah, so Luminar did go over that, so hopefully that's helpful. I will do a video on it tomorrow, and so I'm going to get onto Blink since Ben was requesting it. And so this, I feel like very similar to Luminar, and, I've done a charge point video recently. I feel like, we've seen big moves to the upside. We need to see a little bit of a cool off before we can see a continuation to the upside. And this chart actually, I think, looks really interesting because it did go up to the high that was hit here on June 12th, which was 371. So didn't get any closes above 371. The highest close was from July 16th, which was 370. So just below that level. Couldn't get it. So, what I think we need to be doing is cooling off a little bit before we start to continue higher. And so the best way to do that, I could approximate it with these levels, but I think the best way to do that is to draw another Fibonacci retracement and then see if any levels kind of overlap, if there's some confluence in these levels that would suggest that, they're more significant. So let's see if I can get this just right there to the bottom, 258, going up to the high here of 375. Oh, got it on the wrong day, but yeah, there we go. So locked into place, and I'll make this one yellow. I think that stands out a little bit more than blue, but just to differentiate from the other one. So yeah, I mean, this has some different levels. So I think, relative to this upside one, I should say. And let's see. Maybe I want to do one from here, from 371. I'll probably have to, let's see, redraw this, or adjust it. I'm just going to come down to here. Yeah, I mean, I've got to fine-tune these. So let's see, there's that, and 8. There we go. And so I'll lock this into place and color it blue. So yeah, what stands out, what seems like, there's a lot going on with these levels. So, from this yellow one, that's the most recent retracement, assuming that the top is in with this high of 375 from yesterday, Tuesday, July 16th, which was also, I believe, the high for today was 374.9, so just below that. But, so this yellow one marks that retracement that we recently saw from this low to that high. I feel like that's going to be the best one for identifying levels and then comparing with these other retracements. Let's see. The yellow one, the golden pocket for that is going to be coming down to $3 a share. I don't necessarily think it's going to come down to that level, but that is something to keep in mind. We also do have a gap here. The close on July 10th was 307, whereas the low from the following day, July 11th, was 312. So we've got a, let's see, a 5-cent gap there based on that close. So, I could see price coming down to there, but I do feel like a lot of this momentum that we've seen is going to be continuing. And so maybe we just come back to the 382. That's around 330. That also coincides with the golden pocket from this blue retracement on the way down. And then also the 236 from this one on the way up, right around 335. So I would look for that, but I would also look for a reclaim of 348. 347.4 is the 236 from this yellow retracement. We closed nearly at that level today. And so, as long as we basically hold the current price, that could be the bottom, the pullback, the cool off that we needed before continuation upwards. But I feel like, and maybe this is just my hope speaking though, because while I'm not holding Blink, I am holding ChargePoint, I am holding Luminar. I have a lot of hope that these upward moves will continue. But just because we hope something doesn't mean it's going to happen. And so, I would say hope that 348 is reclaimed, that the bottom is in today with a low of 340, but be prepared for, brace for a retracement to at least the 50%, which is around 317, or the golden pocket, which is right around $3 or 301, 302. Maybe we get a wick down to 301, but 301 orders are not filled. And so, thinking about 302, maybe that is a good level to have a limit order to add if that happens, but also to be fine if that does not get filled. But then, 50%, like I said, 317, 38, the 382 is about 330. And that seems like that's going to be the real dip buying range from about 328 up to around 335. But like I said, could come lower, so be prepared for that. So really, our current price is down to around $3. I think that, also kind of makes sense. That range, $3 being a psychological level. And then we have the bottoms here. That consolidation will likely be acting as support if price does continue lower. And yeah, and the price action that we saw today, big wick to the upside, that suggests that, there aren't enough buyers to be holding price up there. It's dropping, as price goes up, sellers are meeting those buyers, and price is not able to hold above 347. So, yeah, hopefully that was helpful. And yeah, I'll probably continue on with the next ones. And I'm going to see what Sean has to say. Need a vacation from your vacation. Very true. Yeah. Yeah. Some aspects of it were very, very nice. But yeah, I mean, I wish I wasn't working this weekend so I could just have the time to catch up on my not necessarily personal life, but my, routine errands, whatnot, and just the channel before going back to work. But I'll be going back to work Friday. But I appreciate the vacation that I had. The time that I had. Got to eat some tasty food, and yeah, I got to enjoy some time with family. But of course, family's always work. So, but yeah, I will go with Nameless's first ticker that he requested, which is 9. So I'll go over that one. And let's see. Yeah, so from the chart here, got this. I don't know when the last time I went over this. I imagine shortly after June 14th when we hit the low of 137. But it does look like that was a pretty nice retracement. Are getting rejected now from the 236, which I would say is a little concerning because it does seem like that's double top there with this prior high. Let's see. Yeah, and if my voice is cracking a little bit, if I seem tired, it's because I'm tired. I slept on a 3.5-hour flight last night and a bus today, so I'm tired. But that's okay. And I will edit this and release. Well, I guess I shouldn't say edit. I will add timestamps to this and release a video version of it later this evening, so after this stream ends. But yeah, so looking at 9 though, 178, hit a high today of 187.7, whereas the high from June 27th was 187. So we did get a higher high in, but we did not get a higher close in. The close on June 27th was 179. The close today was 1 penny lower than that. So I feel like that suggests some weakness there. If we do zoom in on the chart, we did get a higher high by a fraction of a penny. Whereas if we look at the RSI, it looks more or less flat, which I guess is really not that surprising because, we're seeing it being more or less flat in these highs. Let's see, the high over here, though, in the RSI was 57.75. The high over here was 57.95. So I guess, we are putting in higher highs in the RSI while we are also putting higher highs in with the stock price. But, they're pretty indistinguishable, the highs. It's more or less flat for both of them. So I feel like this is seeming like a double top, and I could see a pullback. Let's see what this orange downtrend, where does that originate from? Let's see, a low over here, and what's the other pivot point? That's not a, yeah, I guess one of the pivot points over here. So that's how I draw that downtrend. I could see price pulling back to maybe 165, finding support there. But if 165 does not hold, I would really just be looking out for, let's see if I do this, 150. We do not want to see price coming down to 150. We want to be seeing higher highs. And with that, I can draw a ray from the low here, 137. And then, let's see. Yeah, I mean, how do I want to do this? The low from here, from July 9th, that is $1.50. Also $1.50 here, I believe. But I'll do this because we just don't want to see closes below this level. And so let's see what those pivot points are. 137, 150. So that's perfectly drawn. Nice. Yeah, so I mean, I would say that over the course of the next week, let's see. what's the Friday after? So next Friday, not this coming Friday, next Friday is the 26th. So by the end of next week, we really don't want to see price going lower than about 162, or at least no closes below 162. I guess if we see it close below 162 leading up before that date, that could still be respecting this uptrend. But yeah, I mean, like the cursor right here, the vertical is on July 26th. That's next Friday. And the line, horizontal line, is right around 160 or 162, that range. So I could see it pulling back to there. And if it can't find support there, 150 and then 137 are levels we want to be keeping an eye on. And I'm just going to do a retracement here from 137 up to the high of 187.7. Just going to adjust this so it's to the penny, as I usually do, or to the fraction of the penny, I should say. And so from that, 50% retracement is 162.3, so that does match with what I'm talking about, respecting this uptrend here. So that's what I would look for. And from this retracement, or I mean, you could wiggle this down, adjust it down by 0.7 cents, and that would bring you to the high here. So effectively the same. It's not really much different. That golden pocket ranged from about 154, let's say, up to about 156. That was already retested here. So if we do pull back, which I suspect we will, we want to be testing higher levels. And so that would be pulling back to around 162. So I'd look for that dips to 162 over the course of the next week, but ideally no closes below 162, especially on next Friday, the 26th. So that's what I see there. I definitely feel like there's going to be a pullback because of this double top here. And then I guess I should mention, though, if the 50% level is not retraced to the 382 is around 168. That is a little bit above this orange downtrend, but that orange downtrend, maybe it's a little bit hand wavy. So something to consider. So really like 168 to 162 dip buying range. But if there's a close below 162, I think it's starting to look kind of sketchy there. So yeah, and that's over the course of the next week or two. And yeah, I see some more comments I got to catch up on. Khaled says, can you please look at SLV? I assume that's silver. I'd be happy to. Yeah, that's there. So I'll add that, but I'm going to continue with Nameless's request to go on with what he requested. I have calls expiring. So Khalid saying was silver on the 26th. That's next Friday. And so, yeah, I will definitely look at that. And I'll let you know if I think it'll recover. And hey, Ricardo, how's it going? And Ricardo, if you got a request, let me know. And Sean, same with you. Your U is looking pretty good lately. Oh, yeah, and I will throw up U here as well. Sorry, Sean, you commented twice, so I missed that second one. But yeah, I forget the person's name, their handle. I think it's like Dreamworks or Dreamweaver, something like that. We were having a discussion about SoFi, and he was saying, he thinks the bottom's in. I was saying I think it's going down to fill a gap, and then the discussion made me recognize, sometimes we get really stubborn about, I think it's going to come to this level, whether that's to the upside or the downside, but we have to allow some wiggle room because it's never going to be to the penny. Sometimes we're going to be off a little bit. If we say $6, it might be $6.15. And so that's what happened with SoFi. I picked up one share of that. That kind of convinced me to also, pick up one share of Unity Software, ticker symbol U, which if it pulls back and it goes below my average, I'll add. If it doesn't, it's just one share, so it's not very exciting, but I'm at least participating in it. And it's something that, I have conviction in. I just don't have a lot of capital to really establish a big position in. So I might as well have a small position and see how that conviction plays out. So Unity, yeah, I'll definitely go over that. I'm excited about that one. But I will continue with Nameless's requests. He often requests a number of tickers, and I tend to forget one or two. But yeah, Upwork is the next one, which I have not gone over before. So I'm going to add that to the DGen Ed watch list. And let's see. I guess I have gone over it at some point. I guess I just forgot to add it to the list. And I'm going to cheers to you all again, in case you haven't cheers, or if you're not partaking. I know it is a weeknight. Oh, and I should note, part of the reason why, that's not my first beverage is because Fever's playing. And so I'm actually going to look up, let's see, what's going on with Fever. Caitlin Clark, she's playing at Iowa before, and the previous low, let's see. I feel like, they were not winning before when I left. This is pretty cool. Looks like they reclaimed it. What's the score? 90-90. Man, this is a good game. That's all I have to say. If you guys don't like watching women's basketball, I used to not, but I started following Caitlin Clark when she was a Hawkeye. And Dallas Wings taking the lead, 2 minutes, 39 seconds. I'll check back later, probably once it's over. But I just had to do that because that's why I've been enjoying the evening. But anyways, Upwork, looking at this chart. From this, we can do a pretty nice retracement going from the high of 1636 down to this low of 1010. So I'll just do that here. 1636. I got that lined up just right. 1010. Can I get that lined up just right? Perfect. Making sure it's to the fraction of a penny. Sometimes it screws up and doesn't do it to the fraction of a penny. And I'm going to color this one yellow because I got some white lines up there. Let's see. So for Upwork, I think it'd be really good for it to pull back to and hold 1158. That's the 236. And so, what we want to be seeing, or at least my understanding of the utility of Fibonacci retracements when something has found a bottom. I almost combined those words, formed and found. What we want to see is levels progressively being held, going up. That's suggesting that the bottom is in. And so what we want to see is 1158 being held. No closes below it, or maybe one close below it, but not getting too carried away going lower than it. And then from there, the next level up, the 382 is around 1250, or here marked as 1249. We also do have, this bottom here, this consolidation. That's around $11. And so I could see it coming down to $11. Not only is there this consolidation here that I would think would act as kind of a buffer from it moving lower, we also have the highs over here. So, this was prior support, became prior resistance. And so now that prior resistance may become future support. But also we do have, this resistance over here around 1145, these highs here. Let's see, what was the high on July 9th? 1140. So 1140 to 1145. Maybe we see a pullback or some wicks down to there. Ideally, no closes, like I said, below 1158. But if we see some, it's not a big deal. But I would think that, holding right around where it's at, that would be good. Forming a bull flag before then moving up higher to claim the 382 right around 1250. So that's what I would look for. Dips to no more than $11 a share, thinking though that around 1140 would be acting as support. And so, mentioning the no closes below 1158, I say screw that. Nothing's perfect. I say no closes below 1140 because then that would correspond with these highs here. And then that would be, that prior resistance becoming support. So I'd say no closes below 1140. If we see that, evaluate how 11 acts as support. If that breaks, I think it's going back to like 1010. or maybe, maybe 1050, because there's a good amount of consolidation there. If I throw up the volume profile, yeah, we can see this lip here that sticks out around 1133 here, or 1140. Let's round up a little bit, coming down to around 11, corresponding to what I was just talking about, so that makes sense. And then we got this other consolidation volume here, the volume shelf, that being from around 1070 down to about 1040. All of this consolidation here that would then be acting as support. So that is what I would be looking for with Upwork. I'm just gonna make sure I see the comment. Oh, and Boyle, yeah, and man, I will definitely go over natural gas. That's one that I used to cover on a weekly basis, but then I just I feel like I got jaded with it because it was always taking so long to play out. And so as far as natural gas goes, I think that the bottom could be in, but I think that the bottom might be broken away from it a week or two from now. Natural gas always, I feel like it's a theta destroyer. It kills the time, eats it up, and I think it destroys opportunity cost. I think it's a real drag there. And so I will go over natural gas generally and look over at that in TradingView. But I think that, and then TMC, nameless. I've got to first go over your first request, and then I will look at these. But yeah, TMC, I've added that there. And so let's see, your final one from your first request was FVRR, I'm assuming. And so this one here, I have covered this before. I'm just going to remove the volume profile. Yeah, I'd done a video about this, having all these head and shoulders patterns, and then it kind of failed over here. What do I see happening with this? I feel like there's kind of like a downtrend resistance, maybe going back to like over here. Maybe I want to do a parallel channel, I'm not sure. But that's just being kind of approximate there. Yeah, maybe I could see if a channel would work. Trend channel. Well, so there's like kind of an upper half to that, the blue part, but I don't think that this is really that significant down below. I find that to not be that useful, so I'm going to delete it. Let's see. So from this, what I could see is doing a retracement from the high here down to the low here. Maybe that's useful. Then we could also do one from, I don't know, is the top in there? This seems like, that's a very approximate level. We did get, this break above, but really other than this, there haven't been any closes above that level. Some at or around, definitely some opens around that level. Actually, I guess this one closed here, so maybe I want to adjust that up a little bit. There, so like right around there. That seems like it's a level that's been pretty well respected. So getting a rejection from there, I could see a pullback to around 23.50, so around $1 down from current price. Got the tops over here, that resistance going to be support, and then also somewhat corresponding with the highs over here. So yeah, one of the things I don't really like about these channels and stuff is I wish I could extend them, or but here I actually think that this is a pretty nice example that we see, some consolidation in the upper half, dip below to the bottom half, kind of bouncing around. I could see it pulling back to that midpoint again, maybe even 22.50 or lower, maybe 22, considering that it is downtrending. That would be like coming out to here. Yeah, so I would say I would expect to pull back. And, a lot of these that have been running, I feel like it's healthy to see a pullback over the course of the next, I would hope for just today, but it might be maybe a week, and then following that cool off. Things always take longer than we expect. We're impatient. That's why our averages are always higher than what they could be, or, we sell before the ultimate top is in, because we're impatient. And so I think that what we need to be seeing here is a cool off. Yeah, I mean, we saw pretty strong. I'm surprised following Tuesday, which went up about, 5.25%, which is $1.26, and then closed at 25.26. The high was 25.26. So that would make me think that it would continue. But then we see this big wick up close within a penny, I believe, of the low. So closing at 24.37, the low being 24.36. So yeah, this makes me think this is probably going to pull back to that midpoint, but then maybe find support there, just like, bounced here from the bottom, went to the midpoint, got rejected, pulled back to the bottom, and then, kind of moved up to the top. So what I could see is this pulling back to the midpoint and then continuing to the upside from there. So like I said, ranging from 23.50 down to around 22 could be good dip buying opportunities. And notice how long it stayed here, almost just about 2 weeks around that midpoint of that channel. So that's what I would look for there with that. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful with that one. I'm just gonna catch up on the comments. Let's see, Ricardo. Okay, so I'm just gonna catch up on these. So Khalid was requesting, let's see, silver, and I will definitely do that. I will get to it. And then Ben says Tor. I went over Blink, I believe. So hopefully I got that covered for you, Ben. And then I will add Tor, and I will also add Plug. I'm probably going to do a Plug video tomorrow. Those tend to be pretty popular. And also, that's one that I hold, so I'm pretty interested in it. And I've actually been, I feel like I usually sell covered calls just to kind of either to force myself out of positions, to trim, or to just capitalize a little bit if, ideally price doesn't close above whatever that strike is, so I can still hold on to the shares. I don't have that many shares of Plug, so I want to get more, but I also am in the green, so I want to wait for it to pull back to my average before adding more. So yeah, I think Plug's a very interesting one, at least for me personally. Yeah, Sean, thank you for welcoming me back. I'm a little disorganized, so yeah, I got the Boyle from Nameless, and TMC should be on the list as well. And then Quodwo, and I have to say, Quodwo mentioned charge point $2 strike expiring for calls, expiring August 16th. I bought one for $15, sold it for $30. I think it's now buy at $35 or 35 cents per contract. And yeah, great call there. Had I bought more calls, I would have, just taken just been playing with house money. So if I had bought 2 calls, I would have sold one for 100% gain, 2x, held the other one for fun. And yeah, I didn't do that. I just I took profits. I would like to have been holding it still, but at the same time, I think options, the majority of them expire worthless. So I'm happy I was at least able to take profits with that. So I appreciate the thought there, Quodwo, the suggestion on the August 16th expiration charge point calls. But I will add, yes, and so I've got Plug on there. Sean mentioned that. And then Quodwo is saying ARE or AIRE. I'm not sure how you'd pronounce that. ALLT. Let's see, MCRB. Adding that, and CAN. And Sean saying Fever FVRR is a good stock, just doesn't get a lot of volume compared to others, but good numbers. Oh, cool. Yeah. And so Quodwo was saying that he sold half of his charge point calls after taking 133% gain. So congrats on that. Yeah, always tough to know where the top is, and always tough to, when taking profits, to look at the chart and be like, man, I could have made more. But that's the name of the game. We're always going to be able to make more. We always have to be able to walk away with those profits. And for me, I'm still holding ChargePoint shares, and I don't have an order in to buy a call or to sell a cash secured put. I've actually been selling covered calls because I have a lot of shares, for me at least. And yeah, so I think it's good to be managing that. My ChargePoint position, like I had mentioned earlier, is larger than my Luminar position, so I don't feel that guilty with ChargePoint. I do a little bit with Luminar. But yeah, I'm just going to delete some of these that I've gone over before I get on to the others so I don't get them confused. Let's see. 9 went over that. TMC. You have not. I've gone over Upwork. So let's see. I think these are all the new ones, so I will continue down in the order that they were requested. And so I had just gone over Nameless's requests there. And if you go to the Bay Area, let me know. So my brother lives in LA, so I was visiting him there. And that's kind of like the main vacation that I've been doing lately. I used to travel a lot more. The work that I used to do would take me around a lot. But now it's really just, I mean, if I have a vacation from work, I just want to focus on the channel because it's, you can't take it for granted. I'm really enjoying the growth that the channel is experiencing. But I do have some friends in the Bay Area. They've got kids and stuff, and I should visit them at some point. But it's tough to manage all of that. And California is such a big state. And so let's see. Hopefully I'm not skipping over anything, but I see Sean's request on Unity Software. And so yeah, this, I have to say, the reason why I bought a position, I bought one share, so, it's pretty lame. But, for me, it's like I cover a lot of stocks and I already have positions like an AMC, ChargePoint that are fairly large. I have to kind of try to manage those, get those averages down while also building up other ones. And so I can't partake in all of the ones that I do. So if I buy one share of something that I cover, to me, that says a lot because there are like Rivian. I wish I owned a share of Rivian, but that's just, and also you get emotional with these. Like Rivian's one I'm emotional about, so it's probably good I'm avoiding it. Unity Software, personally, I don't care about, but I just saw this channel and thinking, maybe it's going to retest the bottom, break below it like it did over here. So maybe I want to wait for that. Maybe I want to wait for 15. But then it's like, well, maybe I'm wrong. 1569, got one share there, currently up. I'm just going to hold that, and I'm not going to trim it for profit, or sell it for profit. It's one share, because I only have one share. And so if this does go up to the half point here, maybe I want to sell it then if there's something else I'm really compelled by, or maybe I want to see if it gets to the top. I could see it going up to the midpoint, then retracing, maybe coming down to 15 then, and then going up to the top. Because, like here, we saw, move to the top and then a pull back approximately to the middle, then a move to the top again, and then pull back to the bottom. Now I think we're going to see a move up to the midpoint, sell the share there, and then, buy back at 1569 or whatever price, 16. And, yeah, so I just think that this is a beautiful chart. Oops, I moved that channel. I should lock it into place. And so, yeah, but I think this is also a really nice example of you're never going to get the bottom to the penny. And so here, the low, let's see. I'm just going to be lazy and scooch this. Can I scooch this over? Yeah, the low here was 1523. And then it got a lower low at 1516. You'd think that's bearish, but then we started to see big volume, coming in after that, and see this move up. And so maybe this retraces to 15. I can very easily and happily add more because I think that it's going to respect this channel, and I think there's a clear exit here and here. And there's also, a clear whatever percentage I went over it in a video, I believe. Whatever percentage move to the downside that is, I think 15%, that's kind of my window for a break of this downtrend. But, I'm just gonna hang out onto that share and turn that 1569 into, over, that's going to be an over 2x. And that's not emotional because it's a very small amount of money. And, there are other plays that I'm focused on, so I feel good about that. But yeah, I sometimes stuff just pops out in the charts. You got to go with those things that pop out. Otherwise, it's, you're convincing yourself too much. And this is just, I don't need to convince myself. It's just right there in the chart. So yeah, I think that's a really cool one. So congrats to anybody who bought the dip on Unity around 15. If it goes back to 15, I will be adding to my position. But again, very small additions. So not emotional about it. But yeah, cool chart there. And so, and I will look at silver for KOLD. And also, sorry if I mispronounce some of your guys' names. I'm not the best at that. But yeah, silver, let's take a look at this. And one resource for silver, I would have to say, is checking out Gareth Soloway's channel, Verified Investing. I can post, I'll pull it up now, since why not, because of the internet and stuff. I'm going to pull up the channel here and pull up some of my subscriptions and go to Verified Investing. This every single day, really like Monday through Friday, he does, let's see, what is it called? The game plan. And let's see, I'll just copy this. It's basically about 20 to 25 minutes live every morning. He goes over stocks that are moving. He goes over Bitcoin. He goes over commodities, and including silver. And so if you're really curious about silver, I would recommend checking out what Gareth Soloway has to say about it, because he's really going to be the expert there. And, one who I've learned a lot from, basically all of my charting, is from people like Gareth. And I really gained a lot of respect for him because he called the Bitcoin top. And he didn't necessarily call the bottom exactly. And so I don't have a grudge against him, but I regret not recognizing, it's good to not be stubborn. It's good to average in case your level is not hit. And so, he called the top perfectly. He did not call the bottom perfectly, but nobody's perfect. But anyways, with that being said, I'm just going to do a retracement. I'm going to do this one. Let's see. It looks not approximate because I'm not drawing it to the point exactly. But the cents you can see there are exact. And so from that, we got a bounce from the 236, so I don't think it's looking too bad. But with that being said, just like you want to be seeing progressive levels going up with retracements, this could be progressive levels going down. And so while it bounced from the 236 at around 2640, maybe it pulls back to that and breaks lower to the 382, which is around 2445. So that's what I would look for. Also, that does seem to correspond with, I think, where the cursor is. I don't know how well you can see where that is, but there's this bottom over here corresponds with the double top over here. And so also the gap there that was filled. So, I could see coming down to around $24 as being, potentially a good dip buying level. And maybe that's for a dead cat bounce, if that's what we're seeing here. But so maybe that's a great dip buying level. Also, we have the highs over here, corresponding with a range from about 2450 down to around 24. So, yeah, I would think that that's 24 to 2450 is a good level to be adding cautiously because it could always go lower. But that's what I would be looking at. 2350 here does, there's a peak here that corresponds with that. Peak over here as well. So maybe there's something there. Let's see. I'm going to look at this on the weekly. See if there's something that stands out. Yeah, I could see a cool off, but I could also, this is, we got a big move to the upside followed by consolidation. Maybe that's a bull flag. And then within that bull flag, you've got a big move to the upside followed by some consolidation. Maybe that's a bull flag within a bull flag. And so this is just, kind of winding up before the breakout. But you're concerned about Khalid. You said that you've got the call expiring next Friday. So when is that? The 26th. I'm looking at the weekly time frame, so maybe this is not so useful. The 26th up here. I mean, this is a pretty low close that we got today. What was the low following this gap up? The low from July 3rd after the gap up was 27.68. We closed lower than that low. We also have this gap here. The high from July 2nd was, or I should say the close from July 2nd. That's the gap, from that close then to the next level up. The close was 26.97. I think this could be pulling back to $27, so I'd be cautious with it. I think over the course of the next couple weeks, I could see this gap being filled. So, tough to manage that. Whenever I get calls, I think I'm much better with options selling them, selling puts or selling calls. Because whenever I buy calls, I just end up paying more for the shares or they end up being worthless. And so, I could see this coming back to 26 to fill that gap. And there's even a little bit of a gap down here too, but I don't think that's too significant. But if we look at that retracement that I drew, 2640, which is the 236, that would correspond with nearly filling that gap. But this gap here, that's coming down to around $27. So I could see that by next Friday. And actually, let's look over at the max pain and let's look at the options chain. I'll look over at max pain, but not always the option chain, just to see if there are things that seem to stand out as potentially being bullish. So max pain for this coming Friday, 25, the following Friday, and that's also the monthly expiration. So kind of take it with a grain of salt, 28. And so with this coming Friday, I could see a pullback, 28. I don't know. Let's look at the options here. So I'm just gonna switch this to 20 so we don't have too many, ranging from these are calls, or yes, these are calls. Okay. Let's see. These ones down here are in the money, and 25 is this coming Friday, I believe is what I said. And the open interest is actually pretty low, maybe because it's silver, it's a commodity. But I think, what we see is 29. Yeah, so this is these are daily. This is for, I should look at this one. This is for the Friday. Sorry about that. July, I guess they're not daily. It's like every other day. It's kind of crazy. Some of the commodities, some of the indexes, ETFs, they can have a lot more than just weekly options. So maybe I'll just do the weekly there so it limits it. Or, I'll do the regular, and just so we know what we're looking at. It's 2 days. And so here for 25, max pain for this coming Friday, 40,000 contracts. And then also here, 26, 45,000 contracts, 27, 32,000 contracts. Lots of contracts here that seem like they're going to close in the money for this week because they are currently in the money. And also, it's kind of the buffer here too with like the 2750 strike. There aren't that many contracts there. So that could maybe be broken through pretty easily. But let's see, getting up to 29, 30, 41,000, almost 85,000 contracts there. I think a lot of those 51, almost 52,000 at 31, those are going to be closing out of, expiring out of the money, I would say. And so that could actually be pushing price lower just because they're, being expiring worthless. And I could see, with max pain being 25, let's see what the following week is. So it's the 26th, as I'd mentioned. Let's see. 28 was the max pain. Only 4,000. Yeah, so not that much open interest. 26 is next Friday. 25.5, 12, almost 13,000. So that's pretty good. About the same amount, a little bit more than the 30 strike. So yeah, I mean, I think that it's quite possible this could be pulling back to fill this gap around 27. Still a lot of options for this Friday would be expiring in the money. 27, yeah, 32. So 45,000 here at 26. So, I don't think that's too unreasonable to think that it'd be pulling back. And let's, I guess, look at volume. As it's been up here, volume's been low, and on the big volume day, it's been a sell-off. So, yeah, I mean, I could see it coming down to 27. So hopefully that's helpful. I don't have any calls in it or a position in silver, but it always sucks when holding a call that might expire worthless because you sell it for a small profit or a small loss, and then the next day it goes up and you could have made money on it. So tough there. But yeah, hopefully that's helpful. But I definitely recommend tuning into Gareth Soloway's Verified Investing. I actually don't think I did post it. Yeah, so that's there. So and Quoto was saying, who made the really good call on the charge point calls. Quoto was saying that it's nasty, looking to gap fill. So yeah, I mean, I'd be prepared for 27, and so maybe that means exit the call and Dream of Stuff. So Dream of Stuff is who was poking me as far as I'm not bearish on SoFi, but my downside calls, gap fill calls with SoFi. Dream of Stuff made the point that bottom could be in. There are some signals suggesting the bottom could be in. So I did that follow-up video. I'm glad I did it. So thank you, Dream of Stuff, for pushing me there, because you made the right call. It's nothing big. I picked up one share. I feel like people can make fun of me for that, but I'd rather partake with one share than not have any shares, especially with SoFi. I believe in the company and the community around it as well. And I also think it's a very interesting company as far as student loan forgiveness, the amount of debt that the country's in right now, credit card debt, whatnot. So I think it's a really interesting business, and really relevant for the times. So SoFi Stadium. I feel like there are a lot of things that keep people's minds on that, and so if it's a company that people forget about, maybe it's not such a good one. SoFi people definitely think about. But yeah, so I have to say shout out to Dream of Stuff, because he made a really good call with SoFi, which I will have to do a video on SoFi as well. So probably tomorrow, I think I'm going to do Luminar plug SoFi, and we'll see about following up on other tickers, but those seem to be pretty exciting as of over the course of the past couple of weeks. They've moved a lot, or I've been wrong, or slightly correct, or something like that. But yeah, silver, I'm going to delete that one from there, and I'm going to check what the next ticker that was requested. Silver. Let's see. I believe it's going to be plug. Okay, I got Tor and then plug. So Ben requested Tor 1 minute before plug was requested. So I'll go over Tor real quick, which I believe I've gone over before. Let's see, is this on? Yep, it's on that watch list. So yeah, this to me, I mean, you guys can tell me what pattern does this look like? And maybe it's wrong, maybe it's a fake out pattern. But what I see here is, this white line, I don't know where it goes back to. Over here, that is about 85 cents. Served as a bottom here, then we got some consolidation below it, then served as a bottom here before these massive moves up, taking, let's see, let's get a measurement there. So how, from this, how high did it go from there? 500, over 500% to the upside, and then it took, let's see, 439 days, so about a year and a half to get back to that price. But then a bounce following it, and that bounce, led to about 70% move, almost 70% move to the upside before retesting, breaking lower. And so I drew that line that stood out to me, and that also happens to coincide with the 382 from this Fibonacci retracement, which I should probably extend to up here. Maybe I will, rather than extending it, I'll draw another one. But the thing that really stands out to me, and it might to you guys as well, this overlap of those lines, the 382 and that level right around 85 cents, looks to me like maybe this is a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. And if that is the case, we take a measurement from the top of the head here to that approximate neckline. That would suggest price could be coming down about 50% from current price, which would bring it down to around 43 or 44 cents. So that's, pretty big drop from current price. So good to be cautious with it. That would be testing the prior lows of 59 cents, which were the 52-week low. And I believe not all-time low for the stock, but the 52-week low for sure. And so let's see here. I'm just going to color this one yellow so it is differentiated from the new retracement that I'll do from 59 cents up to 126. And we can see that there is, the golden pocket for that retracement ranges from 82.45 cents up to 84.59 cents. So I think that this is looking like a head and shoulders pattern, and that price could be going lower, but I've seen it with inverse head and shoulders when I think it's going to be going higher. It's a fake out, it's not an actual pattern, and just kind of there to dupe us into thinking one thing, but then the other thing happens. And so, looking at the chart, I think it looks like a head and shoulders pattern, so maybe not worth the risk. But maybe it's a fake out, a false signal, and that the bottom's near. But I think it looks like there's more downside. So I'd be cautious with it. So hopefully that's helpful. But I think, drawing the multiple Fibonacci's, the confluence between those levels and the prior one, and you can see even over here, these wick highs there, that does seem like it's an important level. And we're at it right now. It's been tested multiple times. Third time's a charm. It might break through. So be cautious with that one. And so now plug. Sean's got to go. Sorry. Let's see. It left a couple minutes ago. So hopefully that was helpful going over those requests. And let's see. I'm going to remove this one from here, and then I will switch over to plug. And just try to continue on with the list. And I'm just going to catch up with comments here. And let's see, my eyes are getting a little dry. What do I think about DNA? I'll add that up here. But I'm just going to continue to try to do in order that they are received. And so Quoto is saying, never hold call till the expiration date, 100%. I've done that, and I've been rolling them. I've gotten some experience rolling them, but I've realized that rolling them, I'm just kind of procrastinating the accepting of the loss. I think, it's like there are the weekly strikes, and so you can think of it as, I want to do it, like, let's say I think it's going to go up to this level by this week, so maybe I'll add on a couple weeks, scratch that, do it by months. By the end of this coming month, I think price is going to be here. Add another month or two to that for the contracts, and I think that's a safer bet. But also, Like with ChargePoint, I feel like I identified a number of things that suggested price would go higher. So I had a lot of conviction there. Whereas a lot of other times it's like, oh, well, I hope this is going to go higher, and it doesn't. And then that just eats away, theta decay, the value of the contract, the premium goes down, and it ends up just being kind of a lost cause. So good to be cautious with buying options. I find selling them to be a much better way to either increase position size or decrease position size, or just take advantage of premium. And I think that, decreasing position size takes a lot of emotion out of that, selling covered calls, and also the same thing with establishing positions, selling cash secured puts. So yeah, I'm a big fan of selling options. And so yeah, continuing on with Quoto saying, with the expiration date, holding till expiration is simply gambling. The monthly is always great, like I was just going over. Even if you're right, time decay will make you wrong, 100%. So that's the big thing with options. You're not just dealing with price going up, number go up. You're dealing with number go up under a certain amount of time. And if that doesn't happen, and that's kind of my thought process with natural gas, maybe it bottoms in with it, but maybe it won't start going up for a week or two. So good to be patient, or good to be thinking about the timing of the positions. The only time to get an option contract with less than 2 weeks till expiration would be an intraday trade, but it should be the third Friday expiration. So yeah, I think that's a good rule of thumb. And there are a lot of good rules of thumbs I pick up from you guys. One of them recently was on reverse splits. If you go back, I believe it was a year, or maybe it was 6 months or 2 years, I forget. But if you go back in time and the price of the stock was $100, then, they're just diluting too much. And so it's a stock to avoid. So Dream of Stuff is saying regarding SoFi, no problem, dude. Typically sell-offs after earnings. I try to buy under 7, thanks. Yeah, so SoFi, I could pull it up if people want to go over it, but there are a lot of requests, and I will do a video on it likely tomorrow. SoFi's just been killing it the past couple weeks. So the bottom was in at 615. And I had a target of 6 to 550, and you can never, be nitpicky about those pennies, and gaps aren't always filled. Maybe those gaps will be filled later, but maybe they're never going to be filled. Tesla has some gaps at around, I think, $7 or $17, maybe 14, I forget. Never going to be filled. So you gotta be able to say goodbye to some of the gaps. And so Sean's departing words, gotta run. I'll catch the rest later. Good having you back. Glad to be back, everybody. If you want a couple of fun ones, check out MAXN and NAAS and Upstart. Have fun. And so MAXN, I'll add MAXN up here, but I'll let you guys explore the other ones. I have a small position in MAXN that I'm going to hold until the end of the month. And maybe I 10x, maybe I 100x, maybe I lose some money. It's a small position, so I'm fine with that. And then let's see. Quoto is following up. Yeah, Tor, not looking so good. Going back down to 59 cents. And Dream of Stuff, can you explain Fibonacci retracement? We are talking about Fibonacci numbers like 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, etc. So Fibonacci, it's I don't necessarily understand it, but it's really just, it's like based on like the Nautilus. It's based on spirals that are observed in nature and then applied to the markets, and that these levels are commonly retraced to. And so a lot Fibonacci sequence. Let's see. Yeah, I'll just pull it up here. Yeah, so this is, I think it's really cool. And it's like, like when art, psychology, nature, emotion, all of this stuff converge. And so, yeah, it sounds like you had it right there with 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, Yes. So yeah, sounds like you know it better than I do. So what is, oh man, I don't know what this is going on here. The AIRE, yes, I'm familiar. The sequence follows the rule that each number is equal to the sum of the preceding two numbers. Oh, okay, so yeah, and so as far as the retracement levels go, we can think about that. Let's see. So 0 and 1, and then, that's combining those, that equals 1, and combining those equals 2, combining those equals 3, 5, and so on. Yeah, so I didn't realize that was the sequence of it, but it all comes down to, I feel like the spiral is, yes, this is 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. I guess this is dealing with area. So the Fibonacci number can be illustrated as a spiral with squares representing the widths of the numbers in the sequence. These squares fit nicely together, forming the spiral. In this example, 5 plus 8 equals 13, and 8 plus 13 adds up to 21. And so, yeah, this is, let's see, going from that 1 to the 2, though, that seems, because I guess, yeah, I mean, it's not, I don't think it's illustrated that well with the 1 being so different from the 2, but you can clearly see that the 3 is the combination of those two. Yeah, and then 5. Yeah, this is a little bit misleading because that 1 looks like it's 2. But, yeah, then 5. 5 would be 5 plus, that's 8, so that makes sense. 8 plus 13 is 21, so that makes sense. Yeah, so there's that. And so if we look at the Fibonacci retracement, so let's see, from 0 to 236, that is, 236. I think that would have to be, what is, yeah, I'm not sure. To be honest, I'm not sure as far as that numbered sequence goes. So let's see. This is going to be Fibonacci. Maybe I'll do retracement. Maybe this will. In finance, Fibonacci retracement is a method of technical analysis for determining support and resistance levels. It is named after a Fibonacci sequence of numbers whose ratios provide price levels to which markets tend to retrace a portion of a move before a trend continues in the original direction. And so I was hoping this would have a spiral or something. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be learned about with this. But this is, from the top here to the bottom, 100% will be going up to the top there. And so here, yeah, so this is 0, and it looks like 102.372 is a level that's not commonly used in the retracement, but 1023 or 1024. Let's see, 1024. So 102, let's say. Combining, actually, what is this? So it's 0. So I'm thinking about this wrong. Yeah, so this is, yeah, it's interesting because that seems like it's, so what's the difference between, I'm just going to pull up my phone here to, or maybe I want to I'll pull up my calculator app. Let's see, 1 second. Calculator. All right, so let's see, the 382 minus 236 equals 14.6. And so that's what I would think that this is right here, is the 14.6, and then you would add that plus 236 to get 382, and then you add 382 plus 236 to get an approximate 61.8. Yeah, so right there. So I think that is, but yeah, then why is there the 50%? 50% would be, let's see, what was that? Let's see, 382 minus 236 equals 14.6. If I add that to, I guess I'm subtracting that from, I don't know. Yeah, to get the 50%, I'm not sure. This is a rabbit hole. I don't understand it necessarily, but I feel like it's a useful way to identify levels that could be useful. I guess that's redundant in saying it like that. And so I have been streaming for more than an hour. It's been about an hour and 15 minutes, and I see that there are more requests. And so I'm going to scroll up to look at some of these requests. And I've got to go over plug. I've got DNA. And then let's see, I don't know where I saw all these AIRE. Okay, so Quodo, there's it. Okay, so I've got to go over plug, and then I'll continue on. And so Ronald, I may not be able to get to QUBT just because it's been, Quoto is saying 2 years. So as far as if there's a reverse split, you want to go back 2 years in time. If the stock price was $100 within the past 2 years, they've been diluting too much. And that's one to avoid. It's just going to dilute down to nothing. So I think it's a really good tool there. And MAXN is optional. I'm waiting for my 60-day contracts to be filled. I'm Dream of Stuff is saying, yeah, I'm thinking that whatever a number is, it must retrace back to one of the Fibonacci numbers. I think maybe the spiral does not matter here. And so it's like a natural set of numbers, things like to hit, retrace, go to. And it doesn't always retrace exactly to the levels. A lot of times there will be wicks below them. But it can be a nice way to say, if it pulls back, and for me, given that I have a number of one share positions now, if we see, SoFi really take off, like continue to take off, and when it's like, okay, now there's a top, then, I can see, okay, well, if it retraces to the 618, then I might still be in the green, but then I'd add more there. So that can be a nice way to do that. And as an indicator, perhaps if we are at $9, a stock will want to go down to 8 or 5 or gap to 13. Something like that, yeah. Man, you think about it, Palantir and New followed some of this. And so Palantir, I picked up a share of Palantir. I'm happy about that. So it's, very lame, small position. But yeah, I think that it's like, it can be mind blowing seeing how beautifully some of the charts respect these levels. That can either be because of algorithms or just based on, how this stuff works. And so I'm just going to take another sip. And then I will move on to plug. And so with plug here, I think my average is, I don't know, around 274 or something. And so even pulling back to this yellow line, I'd still be in the green. And so what I plan on doing is, I'm just going to I have 101 shares, I think. For me, I am just going to be every week selling a covered call probably at $3.50 or, $4, whatever it is, higher than that for, pick up $1 in the premiums. That's 1 cent, $1, nothing crazy. But then if price does go up to $3.50 or $4, then, I don't want to sell it. I want to hold on to it for the rest of my life. I love it. But at the same time, I want to be in the money-making business, not the stock-holding business. And so covered calls help me to exercise setting the emotion aside and, exit positions. I think that plug right now could be pulling back to around 283, maybe getting some wicks down to there. And we can, just talking about Fibonacci's, I can do a retracement from the low to the high that we recently saw. Even though, maybe this is not the high, maybe we see a bounce. I think that this pullback that we saw Wednesday, I think that's a fake out for people to lose conviction and to exit their positions before we see a continuation over the next couple days. So that's what I'm hoping. That's what my thoughts are, but maybe I'm wrong with it. I'll make this blue. And so here, looking at this Fibonacci retracement, 50% is coming down to 278. And, not that this has anything to do with it. I have it on my phone because I don't put it on the computer. But so my plug position, let's see. I have, like I said, 101 shares at an average price of 275. I feel like, I am a little guinea pig, and that is kind of, I am the everyman, and that I'm going to get antsy if price comes down to 275. 277.5 is the 50% retracement. That could be a way to shake people out. It's not going to shake me out. I'll just add more because my position's smaller than I'd like it to be. 277.5 is the 50% retracement. That would be breaking. I don't even know how significant this uptrend is. It's probably not that significant because we actually, we've been forming lower lows there. But, I could see a retracement to 290 or 291. That is the 382 corresponding with the uptrend here. So maybe that's a dip buying opportunity. Maybe $3 right around where we're currently at. The low for the today was $3 a share. So, that could be a dip buying opportunity. But, I could see it coming down to 290 or 277. Getting below 283, I would probably be, I'm enjoying selling cash secured puts to establish bigger positions. I'd probably sell a cash secured put if it got to around 280 with a strike of $3. Expecting it to bounce, so I'd collect that premium. But if it doesn't bounce, I just pick up more shares lower or right around my current average. But then the golden pocket looks like it's ranging from about 261 to 264, and that does correspond with the 786 from, what was this? This was a Fibonacci extension. I believe so. I don't know where those lines are drawn from, though. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. But there's a, looks like, yeah, just from this. Yeah. So anyways, right around there. And, yeah, so I could see a pullback. I'll definitely do a video on plug tomorrow, though. I think it'll be more insightful than I'm being right now because I'm pretty tired and stuff right now. Let's see. Oh, Dream of Stuff is taken off, I guess. So take care, man. He's saying, thanks for going through some of these. Subscribe, and we'll come back time to time. Got to go for now. Yeah, take care, man. Thanks for joining, and always happy to have people. I know not everybody's gonna like all the tickers I cover, but some of them hopefully are insightful, and I think some of them really will stand out as being great examples. Others not so much. Like anything, not all of the calls are going to be good ones. But yeah, so hopefully that was helpful with plug, and like I said, I will do a video on that tomorrow. And so I'm just going to scroll back up to see what the other requests were. Plug. Quodwo, do you still want me to go over all those tickers? Because you requested a lot, and so I don't know that I'll be able to get to all of them. Or I'll try to do them kind of quick, I guess. Whoa. Let's see. This 150. Yeah, I mean, this looks like it's testing a level. I don't know how well I can draw it, but like lows over here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's how aggressive we want to be with that. But yeah, maybe this has broken out. But if it has broken out, maybe it needs to pull back to like 114. And that would, and also, I mean, yeah, there are the highs over here. This kind of like double top corresponding with the low over here. I think there's going to be a lot of resistance around $2. But maybe it's situating itself, positioning itself to break out of the $2. So yeah, I don't know much about AIRE, reAlpha tech, but yeah, hopefully that's useful. I think this looks risky, is what I would think. But oops, from that downtrend, basically from the low over here of November 10th. And then with the other pivot point being, I guess, over here, but really, bouncing off the high from April 25th over here also, maybe it's broken out, but I think it needs to pull back more. Or maybe, yeah, I think that $2. So, I mean, maybe this is a nice swing up to $2, but it could be pulling back to like 114. I had mentioned 114, which, yeah, corresponds with the lows over here. So hopefully that's helpful. And then I'll go over ALLT. This one, I feel like, have there been, look at this on the weekly time frame. 450, I think, will be resistance. And I don't know that we have much to go off of. So this is 2104 down to 119. So there's nothing there to really go off of. Let's see. Who knows? Maybe this will be of interest. Yeah, I mean, because that's, this, bounce there, that's getting to about 370. Excuse me. So yeah, I mean, I think that this is below that level, needs to break above. And so with that, I could see it moving up here and then breaking, or retracing to maybe 240, 250. So I could see maybe a dip buying opportunity around 240 or 250. But right now, I think that maybe it keeps going higher, like up to 360 or 70. But I think from there, it'd pull back, find support around 240, and then maybe continue. Also, RSI is above 70. 5% on the day. So yeah, I mean, I think that this will be bumping into resistance soon. And then let's see. I know Boyle was requested, Nameless requested Boyle, so I guess I I will go over oil and natural gas now, and I'm going to delete these so I don't think about them going over them again. But yeah, I'm just going to switch over to my natural gas tab. And really, yeah, this is one that I really want to, for August, be exploring unusual whales, looking at Boyle, UNG, KOLD, this is, I believe, 2x leveraged natural gas. KOLD is 2x leveraged short natural gas. I need to clear all this stuff. Some garbage I was doing before. And yeah, UNG is not leveraged, but it is the way to trade United States natural gas. And so I am going to pull up the trading view. I think this is probably going to be on. Yep. Oh, natural gas. And so one thing that I just did, I believe yesterday or the day before, out of curiosity, I drew this Fibonacci retracement to see. It looks like we pulled back to that golden pocket. That was at the 65% retracement, right around $2.04. We hit a low on Wednesday of $2.04. So yeah, I think that natural gas could be finding a bottom here, but my experience with natural gas is that it always takes longer than we expect, and so I think that there could be some hanging out here. Maybe until the end of June, maybe the end of July, when we get into, this uptrend that I have drawn here, what's this based on? These two pivot lows here. That was kind of like maybe a head and shoulders pattern that did not play out. I think somebody cautioned me about that, but I wasn't too compelled by it. But yeah, I think that over the next week, we could be kind of residing around here. Maybe it forms a bear flag, maybe not. I think Gareth Soloway will be a good person to follow regarding natural gas, and I believe that he established a small position with natural gas with the expectation of adding to it. If it does go lower, building a full position with it not being there yet. I could see it coming down to, let's see, it always goes lower than I expect. I could see it coming down to $1.86, sub $2, over the course of the next couple of weeks. I would not be surprised by that. But yeah. Oh, and actually, yeah, I'm confused by this XNG USD. I assume that's natural gas. Yeah, so I think that this could be a good time to establish a position. Small position, support over here, with the resistance that was there previously. But it could also go lower. It could go to 196, 195, or, like 186. So for me, I feel like whenever I establish a position in natural gas, I just end up waiting forever. Oh, and I basically had this retracement drawn. Oh, but that was from the top to the bottom. Interesting. I've drawn it differently here. From the bottom to the top, approximately. But yeah, I think that could be a very nice dip buying opportunity. But for me, what I want to do is not just add small position. This is a lower low. Whereas though, lower low in the price, you got a higher low in the RSI. That's bullish divergence. But I think that it could take, this is weekly. I think it could take, we've got, prices coming down here. Let's draw this downtrend. Prices coming down. We haven't broken out of that downtrend. I could extend this. I don't know if it'll, yeah, we're still in a downtrend. So I think that this could continue lower. We haven't seen a break of it. Once we see a break, it could hang out. It's below 30 right now as far as the RSI goes, 27.72. I think it could hang out here for a week. I think it could break lower over the course of the next couple weeks. And yeah, this is, as far as Boyle goes, this is new lower lows. So I'd be patient in adding to positions. UNG. Also, yeah, I mean, there's no sign of a bottom here with this. I do basically the exact same thing. You know, we're still in this downtrending channel. KOLD, this is one, you know, I had a position in just one share, very lame, around 56 bucks. I sold it at a loss down here, I believe. Sucks, but whatever. I wasn't, I just don't trust natural gas that much anymore. So going from here up to the high, you know, it could still go higher. Hasn't really broken out of that uptrend. So, or, you know, if I bring it over here, yeah. So I think that all of these could keep going in the direction that they're going in. Maybe a week or two from now, then I think that'd be the time to add. And I'm considering that, and I think I'll be going over the options flow on natural gas because I think that could give us an edge. And yeah, I don't see anything that really stands out. Boyle, looking at options, these are calls. Let's see for the weekly. So coming up here, high open interest. It's really just stuff that's well out of the money, $13 a share. So yeah, I mean, I think that this could continue going down, going over to, let's look at the next month. Let's just forget about the weeklies. High open interest, a lot of stuff out of the money, 14 bucks. So what we want to see is these contracts starting to move in the money. We have not seen that turnaround yet. Once we see that turnaround, then we start to get the momentum. And that's when this happens. Right now, we haven't formed a bottom yet. So I think that we need to see another week or two before then we can see some violent moves to the upside. Otherwise, it's just going to drag us down with it. That's my opinion on natural gas. It's not the widowmaker because it, you know, kills you fast. It's the widowmaker because it kills you slow. So, I think that the bottom could be in. I think there could be a bounce, but I don't think it's going to be a long-term bounce. I think it maybe, you know, bounce up to like 12, 13 bucks and then, you know, maybe continue lower. So I'm cautious with it. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful. And so I'll remove that. And so I'm just going to continue down this list in the order, or not in the order received, just alphabetically. And then I'll probably end after I get through these just because I'm feeling pretty tired. And quantum computing sector is going to explode next, just like AI. So Popa, what are some quantum computing sector stocks? I'd be curious. And so let's see. I see Quoto wrote please. Oh, and so I will add QUBT because I did mention it before. But then that will be the last one that I add, unless I'm feeling generous in a little bit. Oh, quantum computing. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so I will go over that one. So that checks that box. So that's cool. But yeah, I'm just going to go through these in order. Next one is CAN. Let's see. I'm just looking back in time to see if this has just been fading endlessly. Let's look at the weekly time frame. Nope, it hasn't been fading endlessly. We can maybe draw a kind of, you know, approximate trend line. It's downtrending. We don't want to be going lower than that. And maybe I draw that over here. And so we did get, you know, a little bit of a bounce from there. Let's see. That's 176. We're well below that. That was the low over here. Now we hit a low of 75 cents. Let's see. Retracement from the top here, 350 down to the low of 75 cents. There, we want to be reclaiming 140. And so we're not there yet. It does look like there are a lot of big wicks to the upside, and we haven't gotten any closes above them. So we want to see closes above these wicks. Maybe we see that in the next couple days. It was a green day whereas, a lot of the market was pretty red today, what I noticed. So I'd look for that, a close above 140. And that could be suggesting that we're starting to not only reclaim these highs, but starting to shift the momentum or the direction of the stock from going down to going up. So regarding natural gas that I just went over, quote, I was saying that we use UNG as a sessional trade, September through February options, or seasonal, I imagine, trade. And I guess, this is this is supercomputing solutions through proprietary high performance computing and ASTS, application specific integrated circuits. The company provides holistic AI artificial intelligence solutions to customers, including AI chips, algorithms, development and optimization, hardware module, and product and software services. And then MCRB. Okay, so I'll do that next. And I will move this to the DGen Ed list and remove it there. MCRB. Ceres Therapeutics. This is kind of different from what I was just talking about. So I would say good to have a baseline for, not wanting price to be going lower. This is downtrending, and it does look like price has, been flirting with that level a little bit. From here, I could probably just do this with a channel. Price has broken out of that, but that's just one close above. So really we want to see that continue tomorrow. It looks like it's flat in the after hours. This is looking good though, I would have to say. I mean, the volume's picking up as price is going up, although, it seems like it might be kind of flattening out a little bit. Volume on Tuesday was 23 million. Today was 27, almost 28 million, whereas on Monday it was 9.5 million. So it's like doubling, more than doubling, and then not more than doubling. So maybe we need to see a cool off and then a pullback or a retrace to right around $1.20 or $1.25. And maybe that would be a good dip buying level, retesting that breakout level as support and then bouncing higher. Interesting here. Let's see, I'm going to draw a parallel channel, just kind of having some fun with it and see what we get. I'm just going to draw from these two highs and the low over here. I was expecting that to coincide with that a little bit, so maybe, yeah, not much there. But I guess this is, maybe a word of caution that this is kind of in between this parallel channel price has been residing in for a while. Does look like, it has been respected here, as support there. And then from that, this is kind of like the midpoint that respected as well. And so kind of trading in this range. I don't know that price would be going much lower. I would look for a pullback to around 120, 125, see how that holds as support, and then maybe that's the level to be breaking out. So hopefully that's useful. Okay, so, and you're talking about calls. BTO, I'm not sure what BTO is, but $1.50 calls. Let's see. For let's see, a lot of them are in the money for $1, which if we look at the chart, just a couple days ago we were trading with a high of 82 cents on Monday. So those options, the $1 strike for this coming expiration, those just recently closed are now in the money. If this continues higher, which it seems like it may very well, because there are nearly 11,000 contracts that are in the money with a dollar strike expiring in a couple days. Oh, buy to open. Okay. So like that's like going along with the calls, buying them. And so or is that with the intention of buying to open a position for them to close in the money? $1.50. Let's see. I mean, these, like, one of the things that I find interesting about options is, it's around $1.50. You'd be paying $0.50 for premium to buy it with a dollar strike. You'd effectively be buying 100 shares at $1.50, whereas with the calls here, you'd be spending 10 cents or $10 to buy with a strike of $1.50 or 150. That basically puts the average at $160, total 160 for 100 shares. Whereas if you bought a $1 call, it's in the money. That's $50, and then $1 here, it's 150. It's cheaper to get 100 shares with that strike. So I find that to be, I find buying in the money calls to be interesting. But if you're looking to just swing them, let's see, what's the max pain for? This is MCRB. MCRB. I'm assuming it's $1, $1.50. And then for next month, we've got 3,000 at $1 and less than 1,000 at $1.50. What's the max pain for next month? $1.50 still. Which is kind of surprising, I think. But yeah, I mean, I think that this could be coming up to 270, 275 is like the bottom over here. 250 to 275. I could see price going up to that. Use the options cash to purchase stocks. Never exercise. Okay. Yeah, so for $1.50 for this week, I mean, I think it could continue higher this week. But I think that there's probably going to be some downside pressure to keep it below 150. I think keeping it below $1 is out of the question at this point. Especially, this is 75 cents where the cursor is. I think, pull back to 120 to 25 could happen. But yeah, I mean, quote, I feel like you're more experienced with me than options and stuff, so you probably have a better sense of this. But yeah, hopefully that's helpful. I am pretty tired, so I'm gonna wind this one down, just for sake of time, so I can get on to the other tickers. Go over DNA real quick. This one, I drew this downtrend here, broke below it. Let's see, this is on the weekly. And I don't see any reverse splits, so that's good. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely broken below that. Now it's kind of the question of, is it going to reclaim, move higher? Need to be seeing, so this, let's see. This big green candle, that looks good. But then this red one, wicks. This is kind of like, I feel like it's a little bit, I think that this is looking good, but there's still, I don't know where I want to draw this from. This is, kind of arbitrary because I drew it to that point, but, it looks like it needs to be breaking above this downtrend, and it's not there yet. It got rejected from it. So maybe it would pull back to, maybe we want to do like a micro Fibonacci retracement. So from 28 cents up to the high here, which was 36.93 cents. Yeah, I mean, maybe we'd see some closes around the 50% or golden pocket, 32.5 cents or 31.5 cents, 31 cents. Could be seeing it pulling back to that over the course of the next couple days, but let's see, up a little bit in the after hours. I'd look for it to be closing the week above 33.50 or something around there. It's the 382 is 33.52. And then maybe that's starting to form a bull flag before breaking above that downtrend. But I think, it needs to kind of create like a spring before, create the the tension before it can break out from this downtrend, because it's been rejected from there before. It's being rejected from there now. It needs to consolidate below it before it can launch above it. So yeah, so hopefully that's helpful, Ben. Sorry it took me a while to get to it. And so I'm going to remove that. MAXN, this is one, I just got 100 shares at 24 cents. My thesis, it was brought up during a live stream, is that this could 10 to 100x in a couple of weeks. And if not, I'm, risking $24, so not a big deal. I have not added on dips. I've just been holding. And I would like to see it, take off to get to the top of this uptrend, which would be around, 240. That's a 10x. But maybe it takes more than the end of this month. If it is still, whatever it is, by the end of the month, I'm going to close my position. Just as far as my risk management or commitment to it, I don't want to be holding it longer than that. But yeah, I think that current price around 24 cents, that's when I established my position at that price, 24 cents. And I think the hope is it'll go higher, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe it just breaks down. So, so hopefully that's helpful. And now QUBT looks like a really nice bounce here. But yeah, this seems like there's kind of downtrending, level there. So, definitely been some breakouts, but there hasn't been anything too significant. So I think that the top, this is a spinning top, not doji, it's open and closed at different prices, but closed lower. Big wick to the upside, big wick to the downside, suggesting indecision. After this big move, the red candle for today, down about 7.5%, suggests to me that the top is in. So I can draw a retracement from 35.49, going up to the top at 82 cents. I could see this coming down to the golden pocket around 52 cents. Maybe a 50% retracement at 59 cents, right around there. But yeah, I feel like this is pulling back, and I could see it coming down to 52 to 54 cents, golden pocket, and then finding a bottom around there. Could break lower to 786. It's around 45 cents. I definitely, like I said, I think that the top is in. Notable resistance it got rejected from. And I think that any break above it would not be very long-lived, just like this wick above to 82 cents. Short-lived. Now trading, let's see, get a measurement from the top there. That is down over 20% from that high. No problem, Ben, for going over DNA. Hopefully that was helpful. ASTS, dubstep, I'll go over that in a second. I'm just going to do TMC, and then I will wrap this stream up because I am feeling tired. And I started watching The Boys while I was on my vacation, and I'm probably going to watch an episode of that and then go to bed. It's pretty funny, kind of gross at a lot of times, but it's a pretty funny show. TMC, this is the metals company. And so, yeah, this, I think there was a, maybe it was a last week tonight that was on, deep sea mining. Is that what this is, or is this recycling? Deep sea minerals, and how they're done in a very disruptive way. And so I think that there's some ethical controversy around stuff like this. I think it's really interesting, but I think that the way that it needs to be mined, it needs to be done in a way that's not disrupting the unique ecosystems that are there. So, and that comes from my background in studying the ocean, but I study the chemistry, so not the biology. But I think that the chemicals of these things, the minerals, really interesting deposits. They take a long time to form, so I think it's good to not disrupt them too much, because then there are organisms that live around them that they're important to, and if we're mining all of them, it can be disruptive. But I know you guys aren't here for that kind of stuff. You're here for just the charts, and so I will do a retracement from 80.03. Get it. There we go. Up to the high here of 207. And I need to color that something different. Did pull back to the golden pocket, or the 618 there at $1.29, about hitting a low on July 2nd of $1.27. I don't think that this really looks like it's reclaimed anything much higher. If it can close the week above, 143, ideally 144, maybe that would suggest that it is starting to reclaim these higher levels. But I feel like it's just been fading to the downside. And so, I think like 125, that also, we think in quarters of dollars and whatnot. I think that would be a nice level to add. Also, I have this level drawn here, 103.7. Not sure how significant that is. Oh, that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking of this one here, 122.8. That makes me, 125 seems like a good level to add. Then I have this alert at 115. I don't think that ever went off. And to be honest, whenever alerts go off, I delete the alerts because I don't really pay attention to them. But 115, maybe there'd be a wick down to that level. But I would think we'd want to be seeing, 125 be respected. And so, wick down to this level, kind of getting rejected, move up here to the 382, then a pullback, consolidations, that would be a bear flag following that pullback, now breaking lower. If we get a consolidation here and we do not reclaim 144, that suggests to me it's another bear flag and that this is going to 125. So I'd look for a buy at 125 with TMC. And so I delete that, and then I will add ASTS. So this one, I thought I added it, ASTS. I had gone over this thinking about it as being Elliott waves, and I did not expect it to be going higher. We did see it going higher. We've seen multiple closes above this high, which was 1309. But we're starting to see, this is like a spinning top. The high here now was 1368. The close here was 1371, so that's closing higher than that prior high, so that's good. But then now it's this big wick, closing lower. But this could be a bull flag. So, yeah, I think that if one was in it down here, good time to take some profits and then maybe hold some to see what happens. I think that this could go up to 1544. I got that level marked up there. I think that's possible. But if one is, notably in the green, I think it's a good time to trim. And then because eventually it's going to be coming down. And here, higher highs in the stock price, however you want to look at it. It's just been going up. But this is lower highs in the RSI, so that is bearish divergence. That there's not as much really, backing these up moves. You can also see it with the volume. Volume high here, volume higher here, and now volume's just not so high relative to these big spikes. So I think eventually it's going to fade out, and maybe that's fading out around 14 bucks. So I'd be cautious with it. But, hopefully that was helpful. I am going to close the stream down because I am tired. It's been about 15 seconds short of 2 hours. And so it's been just about 2 hours. I'm going to put timestamps on this in the morning, and I'll release a video on it then. I'm just too tired, and I want to watch some boys. But before I close it, I'm just going to throw this up here. If you have not liked the stream already, if you have not liked the videos that you do enjoy, make sure you give them a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and always share your thoughts, whether in the live chat, during the live streams, or in the comments down below of any of the videos that I cover. Always happy to hear from you guys, whether it's taking requests or, just sharing your thoughts. Happy to take them. And yeah, we'll do the next live stream on Sunday evening. And I'll probably be pretty tired then as well, because that's after working 3 days. But I will not have to be up at work the following day on Monday, so that will be nice. But yeah, it's been nice being back here streaming. Sorry if I was a little rough tonight, but just getting back in the swing of things. And before I close this, I should see who won. The Indiana Fever lost. That's too bad. But no big deal. We're here for stocks. And yeah, so thank you for joining, and I'll be streaming again Sunday. I'll try to have videos out tomorrow on Luminar, Plug Power, and SoFi. Maybe another one as well. And yeah, and then I'll try to do that AMC GameStop on Friday and see what I can do over the weekend as I manage the work schedule. But yeah, thank you so much for joining. I hope you guys had a great week and a half with me not posting too many videos. But yeah, I'm going to be trying to crank out a lot in the weeks ahead. And I will be doing unusual whales in August, so that should be pretty exciting. But yeah, thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.